Welcome back to another video. So not done one for a little while, been rather busy, one thing and another. But I thought we would do a video on this machine here. This is a machine that I picked up from a friend not too long ago. It's not massively old, but it is fairly rare. It's a machine that they didn't make for very long. So needless to say, there's not that many survivors. And not only that, it's made by one of my favourite manufacturers, and that is obviously Suffolk. So I think it's worthy of a video. And it needs some TLC. I was a bit undecided quite what I was going to do with it. But I think at the very least, service it up and hopefully get it running. So without further ado, I won't keep you in any more suspense. Let's unveil this mower and we'll go through it. So here we go. So there we have it. Let me introduce you. That's the Suffolk 12-inch pony mower. So it's very, very similar to the Suffolk cast iron Colt. I'm fairly sure the pony came out just a little bit before the Colt did. The Colt came out very soon after. This was introduced something like 57, and I think the last ones were around the 1961, something like that. So it was fairly short-lived, the pony. But when you look at the machines, you put a Colt beside it, 12-inch Suffolk Colt. The Suffolk Colt obviously has the cast iron 4-stroke engine on there, and the pony has the 2-stroke engine, and I'm fairly sure that this 2-stroke is their own engine. So obviously, you know, looking around the machine, you can see there's lots of parts that I think are probably interchangeable, and at a glance they look very, very similar. In fact, I know the grass boxes as well is basically the same box, same fitting. So obviously a lot of parts were used on both machines. But yeah, quite an unusual machine. You don't see so many of them around. I think, I think it's worthy of a service and get it running. So without any more delay, let's get you zoomed in. We'll go through it, have a look at it and sort of assess the condition. So there we go, as we can see, 12-inch cut. And our sticker on the side, our traditional type Suffolk sticker. And we've got the pony on there. We've got the usual Suffolk centrifugal clutch. And obviously we can disengage it so we can run the engine and test it. And as we said, 12-inch cut. Let's swing it round a bit. We'll have a look. We've got the carburettor on there. That's the Amel, which is also fitted to the BSA slopers as well, and a few other machines. Turn it round a bit. So there we are. Let's go down a bit. So as we can see, made in England, and we've got our model mower number there with a little arrow, and no doubt if we scratched around somewhere we'd probably find a serial number. I mean, this has been restored at some point. I don't think it's quite the right colour green, but it's not far off. And I think whoever's done it has actually been to quite a lot of effort. They've obviously painted the engine, and I'm fairly sure they would have had to take it out to get in there properly. So they've made quite a good job of it. There we are. So that's the little 2-stroke engine. So we've got, I'm pretty sure that the cylinder's cast iron, cylinder head's aluminium, I'm fairly sure, I did have a look round and I couldn't find anything on it, but I think it is smaller than 75cc, so it's smaller than the 4-stroke Suffolk engine. But no doubt, being a 2-stroke, it probably had more than enough punch to pull it along. And this one's got the, I've seen quite a few and they've been, well, missing, I think, the recoil on the Suffolk recoil, which is quite nice because you can see this is actually specific to the pony. The way it mounts, you can see it's quite unusual. It mounts onto the tie bars on the mower itself, not on the engine. And also the engine cowling itself acts as a engine frame as well. That's what secures it all down, so you really couldn't use it without the cowling. It's got that rather nice little fuel tank on there, and our sort of pepper pot exhaust. Let's just turn it around there and we'll have a look. And we've got our Suffolk badge, nice brass badge. And I have had not a hard look, but I think it's been sharpened, so you know it's had quite a good job at it. The cylinder's a little bit stiff, so whether it just wants new bearings or maybe greasing. And even the bottom blade's got some meat on it, so it might not even need sharpening. When I got it, it did have some very rotten woodwormy rollers, which obviously have fallen off since I've moved it, but that's not going to be, I don't think, any real hardship to make up a set of those. The rear roller, they do split, but I think that's okay. And we've got our traditional dog clutch there, so obviously that is engaged, so when the engine clutch is engaged and that is engaged, and then we give our throttle a little welly, then it should take off. And all being well, when you drop the throttle, it should come to an idle. Obviously, if you want to just have the engine and the blades going, or you want to push it, you pull the little dog clutch out. So rather a nice thing. It's cast iron sides. Yeah, well made, I would say. So yeah, I was sort of thinking, you know, do I strip it right down and paint it all up? But I think it's, you know, the colour is close enough, and then otherwise it just makes a a big job of it. So I think it'd be nice to just get it running, get a spark on it, probably clean the carburettor, and a few little tweaks, and hopefully we can get that going. So yeah, let's just pull it over and see what we've got. I did have a look earlier and we don't have a spark. I will check it again, but I'm not surprised. It probably hasn't been running for a long time. But it's got some compression, so we've got a start there. So obviously to do the magneto, we've got to take the recoil off, and then this is obviously some sort of protective cooling type housing, and then underneath there should be our flywheel, obviously flywheel magneto. So looking at the parts lists, it looks like they did Mark 1, 2 and 3. I'm not quite sure what the difference is. I'd like to find out. Whether the Mark 1s didn't have a recoil and they had like a cup starter like the early punches, that's quite possible. There's probably a few other differences I don't know about, but it'd be nice to find out. I'm guessing this is a fairly late one. I believe the earlier ones I've seen slightly different carburetors on them, so my feeling is this is probably a slightly later one. But the ones I have seen, they all look very similar, but the differences could be very minor. So what I did get, I did buy a little while ago a box of owner's manuals. Now this one isn't for this machine, but let's just put that back and I'll show you what we've managed to get hold of. How about this? There we are. Suffolk Pony motor mower, and that's a Mark III manual. So this manual, got at the top there the date. So the manual this came from, 1961 machine. So like a lot of these early manuals, they go into such detail about starting procedures and what you must do, what you mustn't do, and any adjustments needed in the course of the year. And the other nice thing is, like a lot of these old things, they give you a parts list with part numbers, which you don't seem to get nowadays. There we go, there's the machine in bits. Like I say, I'm fairly sure a lot of the bits are very much the same as the Colt. Got anything else? I think there's something on the engine. Let's see if we can have a look. There we go. So there's the engine. The Suffolk 2-stroke engine. Quite basic really, but that's probably all it needs to be. There we are. There's our flywheel magneto on the end. An exhaust pipe. Like a lot of these 2-strokes, you could strip it down for decoking cleaning. I did get quite a few other bits that came with that manual, which was quite nice. So we've got, there we go. I think this was an extra supplement. So we've got the Suffolk Pony roller mower recoil start assembly. So we can see all the bits there. There we go. So that's for the pony only. And I think, yes, this is for the carburettor. Yep. So for those that like your BSA Villiers slopers and some of the other engines, you'll recognise that Amel carburettor. And again, with parts breakdown. All the starting procedures. It's quite nice to get that. That was probably the ticket from the machine it came off anyway. Guarantee. There we have it. So we've got a paperwork on the magneto itself. So hopefully the points are fairly straightforward. Maybe we need to put a new condenser in, I don't know. We'll have to have a look. Good. So there you go. Well, it's a fairly short video. I think next week we'll try and get the flywheel off it. Have a look in there. It might be that we've got to put condenser on. We'll try and get a spark if we can. And the carburettor's going to need a clean. I did have a look in the fuel tanker. It's quite rusty in there. So whether I'll get time for that next week, I don't know. But we'll do a little bit on it next week. Not sure whether we'll get it going, but we'll do a little bit. And as I say, it'd be nice to get a spark on it. Got compression, so I think it's got a chance. So there you go. Suffolk 12-inch pony 2-stroke motor mower. If you've got one, comments please. So there you have it, another video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Might well be next week. Thanks for watching.